Welcome back to Hoops and Harmonies. We are two hoop wearing Latinas. Just doing our thing, okay? That's it.
That
That's
was good.
it.
That was good. That was good.
Thanks. And I'm Silvia.
I'm Ebony.
And yeah. Good. See? Fucking bitch. Don't fucking scare me. Yeah, you made me go through all of that. I was like, what do I do now? But we did good.
We did good. We did good.
So how are you? How has your week been?
Hold on.
I gotta
Hold on, because I glued this eyelash, and this eyelash is fucking it's messy with me a little
just
bit.
star glue.
It's really good glue though.
Star glue from
It's really good
on
glue.
Griffin and where is it?
Dollar World.
Dollar World on Griffin and fuck what's that cross street? No, not
Hancock.
Hancock. Oh.
That's where it is. But anyways, so my week has actually been pretty good.
How was your event? How was that event yesterday? I wanted to talk to you about that.
And wow, it was right there by the gyms. You know the gyms right there on First. And what's that other cross street? First and I forget the other cross street. But it's right there. It was right there. It was really good actually. There
What is
was
it called?
like huh?
What is it called?
It was I don't know. It was presented by I don't know, something about Eres Poderosa. But I don't know. I can't remember the exact person or like
Oh.
the exact like organization that was doing it. But it was really cool. It was really cool. They had a whole bunch of stuff. Like they had like the taco stands. They had a whole bunch of like vendors, like different vendors, like of
Mm.
different things. And they had all these crystals. I was like, this is my friend's spot right
I
here.
love
Literally, I was like,
that.
oh, I go. And I told my mom was like, oh, look at all these crystals. I'm like, yeah, it's for like spiritual people. They know a lot about these. And I'm like, Sylvia knows a lot
Oh, that is so
and
cute.
I was like, but I'm not gonna get her crystals because I think she has a whole bunch of crystals.
I have so many crystals. Like I love my crystal, and I think I got them a lot from I have candles like intention candles, and then at the bottom there's always
Literally, you
crystals.
do.
So I just have a whole bunch of fucking crystals. And I think they like keep my space cleansed. But I'm really bad with moving crystals around. Cause I'll leave them in like my pocket. I'll put it in somewhere, so I don't take
Mm-hmm.
them with me. I just leave them there. But yes, I love,
Yeah.
love,
And my mom
love
was like,
crystals.
oh, look at this is what these crystals mean. And I'm like, oh, yeah, like I know they mean things, but like I don't really know like too much about what they mean
I
or
want to
like
ask
things
you
like
something.
that.
How did it feel when I That's such a Leo thing. It's a Leo thing. How do you feel about my personal journey?
Confused.
I don't. No, for real. No,
Lost as fuck.
no, but for real. Yeah. How did you feel when I started becoming more spiritual?
I just like I think at the time I was just like, oh, okay, like that's cool, I guess. Like it kind of felt like this little fairy tale in a sense.
Mm.
Like, oh, like, she's tapping into this like not that a fairy tale like fake, but kind of like this other world, this
Mm.
other world type of thing. And I'm like, oh, okay. But then like you would talk to me about these crystals and like things like that. And I was just like, but like they're just like rocks. Like, aren't they just like rocks? So I don't know. Like I know they have a lot more meaning to them and things like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know like of that.
And
Like
even the fact that you
so
say like they're just rocks, and in my head I'm like, no, they're not rocks.
yeah, that's what
My
I'm
niece is
saying.
like,
Like
oh, you have a lot of rocks. I'm like, they're not rocks. They're not rocks. That's
they
fucked up.
mean something. Like, and I know, like I know they
I
mean
know.
something,
It's
and
just
like
funny.
there's this like I don't know. I think of it like magic, like this magical thing with it,
For
and
sure.
but I just don't like understand it. I mean, and that's because I don't practice it like that. You
You do
know,
practice it. You practice because those are just items.
right?
Those are just items that represent what it is.
Right.
But deeply, like if your intention is to be pure, you are already moving purely. And a crystal,
But I'm not just
but
kidding.
like a crystal, like this crystal, this one, it just means to open your heart, to be open to people, to be open to things.
Yeah, and they had a whole
Right?
bunch of bracelets like that, and I was just like,
And then
oh my gosh, she has a whole bunch of bracelets like
yeah.
this too.
That's
And
so
I know,
funny. Like you've never paid attention to like that those like stops when there's crystals and stuff.
what do you mean?
Like I guess that was the first time you thought about me. Like oh like this is what Sylvia does. I like you know what I mean.
No, I think it's the first time I actually come across it like that.
That's what I mean. Like
Like
yeah.
it's like in my face, like,
Mm,
I'm looking at it, and I'm literally like looking at it, not just kind of just walking by past it
yeah,
like
you were
that.
looking.
Like I was actually
Oh, okay.
looking, and
I
I
see. I
was
see. I
like,
see.
oh, okay, like there's this pink one, there's this like black one, and
Oh,
like all
I
these other
see.
like crystals. And I was like, and my mom was like, oh, this one means da 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 da, and she was telling me what it means, and I was like, oh, okay,
Oh,
like that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
But I was like, I don't want to get her that because I already know she has that. Like I was gonna get you something either way. I was trying to figure out what,
Mm.
and but yeah, I was just like, oh, okay, like this is my friend's world right here.
It
Like this
is.
little
That's
little
so funny.
vendor.
I feel like you're in my world already. So like when you see me like that, it's like you're not like you don't really you see me. I don't know like the things that I do. There's certain parts about me that you're not like deeply seeing, but
Mhm.
you do a lot of the work. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like you like make sure you're being more intentional. Like all of those things I learned through spirituality, and
Mhm.
I think I taught you them in some way. But I
Yeah.
think you teach me how you do it, and you
Yeah,
teach
I
me
think
what
that's
you're
the
learning,
difference, like
and so
how I do it, cuz I do it I guess the material part, like in those things, like I don't, crystals, like for me it's like, it's, I don't know. It's just different. But for
yeah.
you it's like there's another it's
It's like the
different.
hoops. Like
Yeah,
for
for you,
you,
yeah,
they
yeah, yeah,
mean
yeah.
something. There's something deeply. There's a message. There's a purpose. And
Uh-huh.
I do the same thing with hoops, but I also do it with like crystals when I'm
Right.
setting intentions. But not only crystals. I think it's a lot of things. Like I use Palo Santo like nightly, like all the
Yeah.
time. I'm cleansing.
I did see
Um,
those too. I did
yeah,
see those too.
they did have those.
Yeah, they did have them. I was just like, "Oh, this one too." Like I was like, "Should I do that in my house? Should I get all the bad spirits out and
Yeah,
everything
it
that's
just
ugly?"
I don't know, maybe it's just like a feeling, but it feels like it breaks the air. Like it
Mm,
feels like it breaks the air, everything that I just don't want, like it just breaks it and it
right.
just
I saw this
transform.
TikTok that was like, it was funny because it was like all the windows were closed and something about like people coming back into your life. And the girl was like, because you have to keep your windows open when you do it because everything can actually go out. And I was like, oh, that makes sense.
That's so funny.
Duh.
Yeah. It's the same thing. It's the concepts we know. We're just using these like material thing
Right.
to cleanse and shit. There was this girl that tripped me out on TikTok. She was like, do you know if you're not walking consciously through through life, you're walking into portals? She's like, you know what a what's a big portal no one knows about? Target. And I'm like, what?
What?
Yeah, she's like, you're walking. It tripped me out because it's like, what the fuck? What do you mean? But she was so you
Target?
when you walk into Target, you know how you forget, like you're like, what am I here for?
Oh, that usually happens to me, like, especially, and I think they do this on purpose, like,
But it's
right at the
but
front where they have all the dollar, $5 stuff, and I'm like, "Oh, what is this? Like, what do they have?" And I'm like, and then I get lost, and I'm like, "Wait, I came here for something
yes,
exactly."
literally. And so she was explaining that concept. She's like, don't you ever get that feeling all the time when you walk into Target? And then she's like, doesn't it feel like you're getting stuff that you need? You do need, like you
Mhm.
do need a toothbrush, you do need a, but you leave with more. You know? And then she's like, "That's a portal." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" It was like, I'm like, what am I being sucked into?" She was like, "So if you're not walking into Target, you're gonna get scammed." And I'm like, "Whoa." That opened my mind. I'm like, "Well, I can't go to Target anymore."
Yeah, I think I've gotten better, like, I think I go to Walmart a little bit more than Target,
Oh, I go to
and
Target all the time.
yeah, I go to Walmart a little bit more, and,
Which is crazy because you like the Target is like right nearby.
literally, and I'll
I'll
still go to
fucking
Walmart.
all the way fuckville.
Yeah, like, I know, all the way to the other side. It's not even that far, but
It's
it's
still
because sometimes
further.
I know, but it's because sometimes Target's a little more expensive. Fool. Like, I'm just like,
Mm.
"Ah." But anyways, like, I've gotten better at it. Like, I'll go to Walmart and I'll be like, "Oh, what do they have?" And this and that, and like, but I've gotten better at it. I'll be like,
It's for sure personal preference because I live closer to a Walmart. And I'll still
"Mm,
go to Target.
Target."
And Target is further than me, but also and my mom's always like, "Pues vamos aquí a Walmart, like aquí está." And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
"No, let's
Look
go
at
to
the Target.
Target." So my mom thinks like you for sure. You and my mom are so similar in like making money and like saving money. Like, no, let's think about this. And I'm like, come on,
Yeah.
ma.
It's
Um,
right here.
yeah, literally. She's like, pero $5, like for what?
That's me. I'm
I
like, yo,
know,
at Walmart,
I
it's so much
know.
cheaper.
You look at the price and you're like, well,
uh,
at Target, I mean, at Walmart, they have it like this much, and
literally.
I'm like, okay, I know you're
Literally.
saving money, like I know. I just think it's in my personality, and I was saying this earlier, like to be just very like here now, let's go. Like, why are we gonna waste time to be here and then just go somewhere else?
That's funny because my grandma does that with the markets.
Uh-huh.
Like there's specific markets she'll go to because either it's cheaper or she likes the food better from like specific places.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, why do I have to go to so many markets? Like we could just go one stop, done. But no, like there's specific ones. Like the meat, she likes it at Big Saver. And then like at El Super, she'll go certain things, and then Food for Less, certain
I know
things.
you're
And
the
it's
first
like,
friend that I've had that goes to El Super. I mean, goes to Food for Less for their groceries.
yeah.
Like you took me one time. Remember,
Yeah, yeah,
forgot
yeah.
what we did, but we went to Food for Less, and I'm like, I haven't been on a Food for Less in like a really long time. But you're always in the Food for
Food for Less
Lesses.
was the place. I don't know why. Like it was just the groceries place that we would always go to, literally.
Yeah.
Because Big Saver was sometimes expensive.
No,
Because it was right there.
our grocery stores were always like buy right, fucking El Rancho, and what's the other one? Fuck. El Rancho. The one right next to it. Like really big savers.
Oh yeah, Big Savers. Uh-huh.
All three of those. I didn't step into a fucking new store until like
After.
years later. Like now my store is Vallarta,
Mm-hmm.
El Super or Cardenas. Like those are my three top stores.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
And they're all placed differently. So it's like, I don't know. And the stores over there are different than over here. Like way different.
Mm. Do they have different things also?
No.
Or not too much? Because I know sometimes like different Walmarts sometimes have different things.
But isn't it crazy how we limit ourselves in those ways? Like
Yeah.
I limit myself from like Walmart. Like I'll be like, I don't care to go. I don't want to go because my mind is so set on a certain thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then like even your mom, your grandma, like she's so set in a certain thing.
Literally.
Like she's so set, like and I'm so set on certain things, and my mom is so set on certain things that like I'm just like I don't know, like I have my own set ways. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think limits, um, they're also like you learn them. Like you learn like literally what you were saying, right? We learn them. Um
What is one limit that you found out that you have? Like that you have you know, but you're still not choosing to break it. Like this is your limit and you're just like, I want to do more, but you don't necessarily you haven't taken those steps. Do you feel like you have that?
uh, I don't know. I think I've gotten better with a lot of my limits. Like I can't think of one that I've really like.
Acknowledge it and ignore.
Yeah, like I acknowledge and I
Mm,
ignore. At least not now.
right.
I think the one I mean, I maybe like I think financially, I think I still like, but it's a balance. I think it's just finding the balance of it, and that's actually one of the key things I think we'll probably talk about because that's a really big
Man, you know
thing
what I was
about
about to
balance.
say? I mean, if we were gonna go into there, like your balance thing, but just the way money made you push yourself to the limits to spend more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you were literally forced to be like, all right, you know what? Like things like for you like went so differently than you had planned.
Mhm.
Like it wasn't even your fault necessarily. It was like, but your money thing went like really weird, and then
Mhm.
you started having to see money differently
Mhm.
because there were so much more limits
Mhm.
that were put on you. So you're like, okay, how do I like do it differently? And now like with your money, it's that balance that you have found because you were
Yeah.
forced into this weird situation with money that like you had to like shift like everything.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah, you
Because I
shifted.
think I had like as far as like for me like financially like there were specific ways that I would do certain things and like pay things or whatever like
Mm-hmm.
and then like I literally had to do that and make that shift. But I think on top of that, like just being okay with spending. Like I think spending was just like it was very hard for me. It was very hard for me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it wasn't like for certain things it wasn't that hard.
But you had
Like
a set idea of like, this is how much I need to have here.
yes.
this is how much I need to do here. This is what I need to pay here. And it
Yes.
was like that. And then when this like change in your money situation pivoted, you're like, oh shit, like hold on, like and now you're a little bit more flexible with your money. You learn to be flexible through that change. I think that
Mhm.
that's what I've like from an outside perspective in. It looks like you were able to be more to learn to be flexible, and it came
Yeah.
from a really ugly change
Yeah.
that you didn't want. Like you're
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? Like
It's
I
because
don't
I think there was a plan in place, and the plan
exactly
in place obviously, like, I mean, it's good to have a plan, right? I think it's good to have a plan, but I think just now being aware that sometimes plans don't go that
shit
way and things
happens.
happen, and being able to like maneuver through that.
Yes.
And I think that's where it kind of got me, and I was just like, okay, like now I have to figure
Yeah.
out like how can I work with this
Yeah.
and but still have my plan, right? Like still have that plan. And I
Yeah.
think that's where it kind of changed for me. And now it's like I can now I'm finding ways to be like, okay, I can spend, because before I think it was just like spending and being like, oh no, I can't have fun. Like I can't have fun because I don't want to spend. And now it's like
Fuck.
literally it's like,
Fuck.
okay, now now it's finding a way of having fun and balancing with like responsibility or things that I already knew, like, okay,
Yeah,
things
yeah.
have to get done. So it's that balance, literally that balance. But no,
69.
69.
Fuck.
Perspective.
Fuck.
Perspective.
That day at Rolling Loud, we were like, I like taught you something. So like you're like, yeah,
It
that
literally stuck with me. Like it
yeah.
stuck with me the whole time. That I just it like it always comes up somehow. But
Yeah, so that's a really good way. So you and it's like it comes from the idea of 69. It comes from this idea. I know it sounds dirty because I think we're just going there. Essentially, like when I hear the number 69, I think of some dirty, like this not dirty. I think of like sex. Like you think about like this position.
right.
And when you're like in middle school, you know how like the 69 like is
Yeah.
all weird and shit. Okay, but anyways, so for me, when Takashi 69, like I was super like into him
Yeah.
for a while because he was cool, right? Like he's this like Latino from New York and shit. But then on one of his interviews, he talked about how like he's a um how he's like a the reason why he's Takashi 69 is because
Mm,
69
mhm.
means six and a nine.
Mhm.
Like to me, it looks like a six, and to you, it looks like a
It's
nine.
like a yin and yang.
Literally, and from you, it looks like a six, and then it looks like a nine. So
Mhm.
we're literally seeing the same thing, but we're in a different perspective,
Right.
right? Perspective.
Perspective. Is that messing that with drill team
Where's
also?
oh.
That was good, actually.
Yeah,
That
we
was
did
pretty
the same
good, huh?
routine.
That was
We
good.
did. I hopefully when we look back, this was the same routine. We weren't even in drill team at the same
My
school.
cheer coach is gonna be upset.
We weren't even in drill team but I think that's the same account for all like drill team girls, huh?
Literally. But anyways, back to perspective.
Perspective.
Yeah, I think those are the limits that a lot, like, and just in general, like a lot of things, like there's this plan. Again, there's this plan in a whole bunch of different ways that
Change.
it really did.
It has to change.
It
And you
really
know
did.
what?
It really changed.
When change comes, it's such a like I was actually talking to this therapist, you know, the one I was
Mhm.
telling you about. And she literally
Free therapy.
free so we talked about therapy
Literally.
and ask and you shall receive
Receive.
because I got a therapist. Like I had a therapy session unwillingly. I had a therapy session.
That's cool though. That's cool.
It
That's
was
really
really
cool.
good. But she's like a real ass bitch. Like she's down. Like I told you, if I have, I literally said it.
But
If
you
I have
picked up
to,
off the vibe. That's why too.
but I said like if I'm gonna get a therapist, I need to know that she's a real ass person,
Right.
and that's what she gave me. She's a real ass
Genuine.
person, and she's like a therapist. But anyways, why was I saying that?
Because of perspective.
Oh yes. So she was telling me that like what was she telling me? Hold on, I forgot.
Rewind. You're having an Ebony moment.
I forgot what she told me about perspective. But anyways, the point is like I don't know what the point is because
The limits. It was about limits. We're talking about
Oh,
limits and
yes, and perspective and change.
yes, change.
Yeah, so that's what it was. The topic was about change. She
Mm.
was telling me how like she's like when things come, she pictured it, she made a picture so beautifully. She's like when things come, they come in waves. And you know that fucking wave is coming cuz
Now I think that's the thing. Like you now knowing it's
but
coming.
like she explained it like the wave the first time you don't know it's even coming you don't know it, you've never met it,
Mm.
something so new, something so like if you were just put in the water for the first time, something so new, this fucking wave. I've never seen it. What the fuck did it just do to me? It tumbled me. I
Mhm.
fucking fell. This one time I went to the beach and like my whole shit was scraped because I didn't I've never been in a wave like that. You know what I
There's a
mean?
few times that had happened, so
That what did have to happen.
it did. I'm
But
not
any
surprised.
but anyways, so then the next time I knew what the but she was explaining it like when change comes,
Mhm.
you don't know it first. It's scary. You don't want to face it.
Yeah.
And you don't and you push and you're like, "No, I don't want it."
Mhm.
Even though you know it.
Mhm.
Even though it's like it's in your fucking face. Like
Mhm.
every time like this error, this mistake, this thing you did, this thing that happened, I see it and I don't want to change it.
Mhm.
I'm not ready. No lo quiero. Like I don't want it. Like
Mhm.
you know it. And that shit
Mhm.
fucking it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, and then you're out.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And then you have to just start facing the shit.
Yeah.
Like really facing it.
Right.
And I was telling her like 2 days ago, I was driving home and it was just this is just such a great moment like for me and I was like, man, I could see I could see how change comes and like even thoughts like scary thoughts that I think that I'm like I don't want to deal with that right now. No.
Yeah,
I don't
and the
want to.
overthinking.
And I'm like, no, I don't. And then there was this thought that I had about something that I feel like I haven't dealt with in years.
Mm.
And it came and I was like, no. And then I'm like, and then I
Wait.
just sat and I'm like, yes. And I just went with it. I let it be. And I let it
Mhm.
hurt me and I let it be mad. And then I felt peace.
Mhm.
I felt so much peace on reflecting. Because when I feel like I can reflect, I can do this thing, this change, this like thing every time. I already know you. I already know who you are. You're
Mhm.
cool. Like it's cool. Let's go. Like we're gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. And I
Mhm.
think that's literally what I faced. And I told her that. I told the therapist that, and she was like, beautiful. And I'm like, and you know what I did? And that's my mantra. Like, turn your peace in your fear into power. You know, I was so scared of it. Now I
Mhm.
can teach you, and I could teach you, and I could teach you, and I could teach whoever I want because
Mhm.
I'm dealing with it. I'm doing it,
Right.
and I'm doing it first in my mind because how can I ever do anything to anyone if I'm not even dealing with my own shit?
Right.
You know what I
Well, it's
mean?
back to the conversation we had like I think what 2 episodes ago. It's like the idea of therapy, literally therapy too is like how can a therapist or how can someone tell me, this and that if they
But
don't know or triggers
I
like
don't even
triggers
think
being
because of her
handled
therapist, like let's vet her that
or
she's
just
a
in
therapist,
general.
just like you.
Yeah.
Like you do it for me,
Yeah.
and I do it for you. Like so I feel like it's like not the therapist that helped me. I
Mhm.
helped myself. And then
Mhm.
I walked in there and then she was
Well,
like
it's kind of like you giving your perspective, but letting the other person know on the other end is
letting the
like
other person tell you how she feels about
right.
of what you said and you like understanding it because you're looking at the same image, you're just looking at it from a different angle.
Yeah. Perspective.
Perspective. Yeah, I think that that's what I had gone through and like that's how I'm dealing with change and I think that that's how I saw it when you told me like I saw like you literally going through this change and it was like a gradual thing like
Mhm.
it happened and then it really happened and then you're like fuck
Yeah, yeah.
and then you had to deal with it and then
Yeah.
so you sat with it and you're like man like I can't keep doing this
Yeah. I
and I
think the other one now, I think that you're talking about, and I think you kind of talked about like the idea of like dealing with things that just happen suddenly. And I think it's like emotions, right? I think sometimes we suppress, and that's the other like limit. We suppress our emotions, and I think
mm,
for a long time, like that was another thing is suppressing, like how do you really feel? Like how do
yeah
you really feel? And it was like, and it goes back to this And I think we're like, obviously a lot of the things that we do is learned behavior,
Oh
right?
yeah.
It's a lot of it's learned behavior. So it's like, we learn to like not cry or not show your emotions or not do this and that. So that's
Mm-hmm.
the limit we're putting on ourselves, like, or a lot of people put on themselves. And I think now, like, me and you are, we're both kind of going through this thing and learning how to be okay with crying, like just being okay with crying, even if it's by yourself, like
Mm-hmm.
just crying, like, and then being able to like cry with other people or cry in front of other people, like, because I think, at least for me, it's like I didn't want to have people see me cry, like I don't
Mm-mm.
like those things, like it's hard, or it's just like, or I didn't like, I think one of the biggest things was like I didn't like people feeling bad for me, like it was just like, no, like don't feel bad for me, or like things come like, oh, like, are
But
you
you know what?
okay?
But
And
you
it's
know
like,
what?
no,
It's
like
it's
don't
our
do that.
idea. It's our idea that like I don't care. Like you're we're so used to not being validated by people. Like, no, don't
Hmm.
worry about me. Like, I'm fine. Like, it's okay. And it's like, no, I'm
And that was the
not.
quick response. That was a
Yeah,
lot of time. Like, no, like, I'm okay. Like, don't feel
don't feel
bad for
bad for
me.
me. But it's because
Yeah.
we don't feel worthy enough to feel bad for. We don't feel
Mm.
worthy in ourselves to feel bad for.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, but I do deserve to.
And you do, yeah. And but it's like, it's what my grandma says sometimes. She like, if things happen, or if she's feeling some type, like there's times where she'll like, go through it, or something's going on that she's just not, she's not feeling okay. And like, and I'll ask her like, oh, what's wrong, or like, estás bien, or things like that. And she'll be like, no, like, nomás me quiero deshogar. Like the
Yeah.
word of deshogar. And it's like, no, I just need a relief. Like I just need a release, or like things like
Yeah,
that,
you just need to do it. You just
Yeah.
and I think that's what that for you it's the gym. For
Yeah.
you it's like reading now,
Yeah.
going seeing views, seeing things, seeing culture. Like that's your like let me let this out, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And like and I think that that's what we all
Singing, that's a big one. I
singing and
think singing
dancing,
and dancing, literally, like just
laughing,
laughing, like,
crying,
yeah,
talking.
yeah. It's all of them. It's literally
And I
all of
think
them.
and I think for so long you didn't have that, and for so long I didn't have that. We're really talking about this shit, like
Yeah.
shit that's really happening. Like I think I was like one of your first people that you cried in front of.
Yeah, probably. Like,
You know,
as
like
a,
and like
as a
really
as a
cried,
friend, like
like
as a friend,
like
like a
I'm
good
calling
friend.
you because
Yeah,
I'm not having
I'm
a
not
good
having a good
day.
day. Like literally, yes.
Literally, and I think
Yeah.
that that was the first person to do that for you. And I think that's what our friendship has been like. We've really gone in there and like done the whole thing,
Yeah.
like we're feeling, we're acknowledging what's going on, but with each other, and we have this like
Exactly.
safe space to do it. And I think it's this release that we didn't know, and it started with talking.
Mhm.
That was a release.
Mhm.
And then it started with going out,
Mhm.
and then we didn't even get a fucking chance to like go out for so long.
Damn
And fuck.
it!
And then
We missed Down and Out.
and then bring Down and Out back. That's a
Please.
hold on. Down and Out is a whole nother fucking subject because
I always want to. You know what? I have to go back to all those videos we have, because that's a lot. It was a lot. Down and Out was a lot. It
can we
was
put a
so fun
can
though.
you edit a video of me and Ebony here on Down and Out?
Now you want to put that out there like that?
I'm gonna put a montage of we didn't have social media, we didn't show it to anyone.
We
It was
didn't.
just like
We
real
literally just
raw.
had these. I think we had Snapchat, but that's about it. But even then,
Yeah,
we
if
didn't put all
people
the
if you
crazy
had
like
the
that like that.
Snapchat, if someone had our Snapchat during those days,
Yeah. It was fun though. It was fun. I can't lie. It was just a really good time all the
it was a
time.
great release.
Very much. We're on top of that freaking
The
stage.
stage.
Literally, a security guard already knew us. Like,
Ebony got kicked out once.
what? Yeah. One time I did get kicked out. Like, they just thought I was just out of it when I wasn't. It's just literally, I was just having a lot of fun. Like,
A lot of fun. Just know it was a lot of fun.
a lot of fun. They thought I was. They thought it was my limit. That I was it for Ebony no more,
But
But
also, like, I want it. I don't know, like, if it sounds, usually, and I'm thinking about this maybe in my head, but like, usually when girls go out, they think that like we're doing like weird shit with guys. Like, that is
first of
nothing
all,
that happened. Nothing. Like,
that's for everybody. first
we
of
were dancing
all.
with everybody. We were making people dance with each other. we
Literally
were
making a whole ass circle
we
in the
were making
middle.
circles. Oh my god, like that was our vibe. It had nothing to do with no
Borrowing sweater.
that sweater story. Can I say it?
You can say it. It's
Okay.
fine.
So
It
once
was
upon a
funny.
time at
At Down
Down
and
and Out.
Out.
And so once upon so we
This
were
this one time at Down and Out.
this one time at bank. This one time at Down
Down
and
and
Out.
Out.
Definitely a thing. Definitely. We should have a whole segment on Down and Out episodes. Anyways,
Yeah.
so we were on the stage, we were dancing, it was so much fun, and like we were dancing, and I don't know, I remember when, but I was dancing with Ebony, and then I'm like, dude, my pants just ripped. Like
Literally.
ripped down the
The
fucking
middle.
middle. And then Ebony went to the restroom, and she's like, I don't want to go home. And I was like,
I didn't want to go.
and I was like,
I
me
don't
neither.
either.
Me neither. So we found this guy who had a sweater like wrapped around his,
Literally.
and we're like, hey, can we borrow your sweater? My pants ripped.
Pants. And he was so nice.
He was like,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
here. And I put it around my waist. And then
Literally.
I still have the sweater because shout out to that guy. He worked at that station on Slauson. What's that like? They build shit there. Like it's like not NASA. It's
like the tinny?
SpaceX. He worked. It's a SpaceX sweater.
Okay.
He was a worker from SpaceX.
Wow.
Shout out him.
Came
So-
in clutch.
yeah, literally. And then so he basically like let me borrow it, and then that's the day like I want to go do a drama outside the fucking Down and Out, and me with my sweater,
No, fool,
my
but
ripped
before that, because my pants ripped too. Yeah, literally. That was the funniest thing because it was like, your pants ripped, and literally, like, within 2 or 3 minutes later, I'm like, fool, my pants ripped. So, literally, and we were still on the stage. We were still on the stage dancing like that with our fucking ripped ass pants. Luckily, though, my pants ripped through the back. Like, it was like a little style. Like, okay, she had a little rip right there. So it wasn't too bad. But that night was crazy. We're like, okay, but we're not going home. This is not our limit.
not our limit. We have not reached capacity.
No. But then, yeah, literally that night afterwards, a lot happened afterwards, but you go ahead.
If you guys were at Down and Out parking lot that day,
then you know what's up.
other than that, I don't know. Anyways,
but yeah, those were the nights. I think those were really good.
definitely gonna bring Down and Out back.
So, but it's been a change. There's been a little bit of a change.
Yeah,
in
so
our...
yeah, literally. So anyways, back to our really serious topic about
right.
no, but after like it was changes because that's how we used to release.
Yeah.
Like we had so many laughs and like great energy there. Like that's how we learned to read. And then we didn't have that anymore. It fucking stopped. The last time we went Down and Out was
it was very sudden. Like
it was Valentine.
whoa.
It was Valentine's Day.
I know, and the big old roses.
That was a really great night. One of those nights, and then after we couldn't be out anymore, and that was when we went into lockdown.
And we're like, we'll be back right now. Like we thought it was that we literally.
I didn't take it
serious.
I didn't take the pandemic seriously at the start, and then after I was like, oh,
this is real.
Wow,
this is
we're never.
real.
But it gave us a great blessing. Like now we get to work from home.
Yeah, that's true.
I love it.
That is true. That is very true, actually.
But those are the changes. I'm telling you, even the pandemic was such a like weird change for us, and we weren't affected by it. We just went with it. And I think in some way I did it. I think I resisted it and then that's why I had so much anxiety around the pandemic for a really long time. Like so at the beginning it was like I'm like just going with the waves, like chilling. And then after it was like a really big one, like, oh, this is serious for me. That's how my wave went, I guess. And then I resisted and I resisted. And then I was finally like, that's when I got really into spirituality. And then I was like, oh, like, and then I learned to like, Ooh,
Yeah.
okay, it's okay. We're okay. I'm
Yeah.
okay. I went into that.
It's all gonna be good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think with that journey, like you're also learning how to like, try different things, do different things, and I think really that journey has a lot to do with us coming out of our limits.
Yeah.
Literally stepping out of those
Yeah, the
limits.
pandemic made us like it's
Here you go. Figure it out. There's a change.
just didn't care what happened to us. Just
Literally.
figure
But
it out.
I think I think also, like you were saying, and I think we touched this on the other episode, is we're learning how to do different things, individuality, like
Yeah.
you learn how to do certain things, I learned how to, you know do certain things, and learn yourself, like learn yourself and learn what you like, your interest and things like that, and no longer putting that limit of thinking like, oh, I couldn't do this, or like I wasn't able to do this or do that, like because I can't, or I shouldn't, like this is
Right.
not, I can't have fun, or I can't
Mm,
go, I don't know, just different things, like we weren't, or we thought we couldn't do, because they weren't, it wasn't a need. I think the idea of a need,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, but sometimes things don't always have to be a need. It's like, what about what you want? Like, what
Yeah.
about what you want and what you really want to do? And what does Ebony want to do, or what does Sylvia want to do, or what actually makes you happy?
Yeah.
Make you happy. And I think we forget about sometimes happiness and just like think about, no, need. I can't.
Mhm.
I shouldn't.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I think that's another thing that really like has been able, and we've been learning how to do. And it's a big thing, because it was always like, no, like this is life. Life is actually like this. Like reality is. And I think I say that a lot. I think I catch myself
No,
a
you're
lot.
like, no, that's not how it
No,
goes.
like,
No, you
yeah, or
can't.
reality is like this and that,
Oh yeah, you do say that.
Yeah, I do
Oh yeah,
say.
you do say that.
Yeah, I do. I know. And I catch myself because and
And you know
again,
what? You know what you do for me is I'm very like, go now.
yeah.
Do this now. And you're very like, hold on.
Wait,
And
yeah.
it frustrates me cuz you like
Like I'm pulling
you
you,
were
I'm yanking on you.
yeah, and I'm like, like
Right.
we're still gonna go though. But your perspective is so needed. Yeah, your perspective is so needed because it makes us like do it right.
Exactly. It's like we
Like
can't do
like
this.
I have
Like
the yeah
we
you
can.
yeah, I think you love my ideas, but it's like hold on, let's think this and let's make
Yes.
this what your idea is a little bit more, and then let's go.
Like let's think about these things. Like we can't do it, but let's just think about these things before we get there.
And I like
And you're just like, no, 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 do this,
and
that.
I get like so frustrated, but I'm aware that I'm frustrated now. I told you that the other day.
Yeah.
I apologized to you, and I'm like, I'm sorry. Like I know that we needed to hold off, and you were like, and I was just like, come on, let's do it now, come
Hmm.
on, and then you're like, no, hold on, like, and I was like,
Right.
hold no,
Right.
I don't want to hold on. I just want to do it, and so I had to apologize because I checked me. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, like I know why it works, and
Because
that's what
we're balanced.
we're literally so much balance. I 100%
Literally.
believe like you and I balance each other. I told someone like, "Oh, Ebony's my soulmate," and then they're like,
No.
"Really?" Like,
It's because friends are also soulmates.
literally, and then they were like, "But like that's weird. Like, I've never heard someone call their friend their soulmate," and I'm like,
Mm-mm.
"She's my soulmate." Like, I don't like we balance each other. We're so alike, but we're also
Very
very
different.
different.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Right. Literally. Like, and I think, and it's literally what we're talking about, that it's like you're very a go person, like go, 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 and like you have everything's processing in your head and you're just like let's just do it. Like, and we'll figure it out from there. Right. And then in my head it's like, and it's always this thing of like think before you do. Or I just process things in my head, and I think it's sometimes I feel like I'm this person that has these
No.
visions, and I'm just like, damn, I've been like, you
That's
think
so Raven.
that's, yeah, I'm like like, oh.
No, but
No,
but
but
it's
it's like,
true. But it's true. I
yeah.
see what you're saying, but I also think that like even this week, your way of living taught me to slow down. watch what's happening because I was gonna make a very important decision this week,
Mhm.
at work,
Mhm.
and like I wanted to do this, this, and this that day,
Mm.
and then I was like, hold on, and
Mm.
I fucking stretched that timeline really long,
Mm.
and I'm like, hold on, and it allowed me to make the best decision.
Right.
It allowed me to see the decision that I made, or that at work we made,
Mhm.
was that, like,
Mhm.
because I took it back. I was like,
Mhm.
hold on, and I didn't rush it, and it
You
felt
thought about it, you took time to
and
process it and
everything worked out as it
yeah.
should.
Yeah.
But I had a great idea. My idea still stayed the same. I still did what I had to do at the beginning, but I took a little bit of time to stretch it out and dot my I's and T's. That's how you say it?
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
just I was like, dot my I's and T's, but I don't know.
It sounds right to
Like
me.
cross my dot my I's and cross my T's.
Well, it sounded right to me, but I also
Yeah,
don't
you're
know
like,
the
yeah,
term.
that's
Yeah,
right.
that
Thanks,
I
friend.
understood you.
I know what you're saying. You want to get it right.
But yeah, I think and that's the biggest thing is like going back to balance is like being able and I see that balance for you is like still being able to do like the spontaneous and the go, but
Hmm.
being able to step back and process it before it gets done.
Yes, like
You know?
I don't know why it's been happening even with us right now. We're buying Chicago tickets and we
Yeah.
haven't bought them. And I'm like, Ebony, when are we gonna buy the tickets? Ebony, when are we gonna buy the tickets? And you're like, oh, it's so and
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
like,
no, we have planned like we planned it to do it and then things come up. Like I think that day we were supposed to do it, like then we got on the
mm,
call and it just
yeah,
like took a very
I
long
know,
time.
but I think you're okay with taking your time, and I'll just
Yeah.
do it even after that night.
Yeah,
Even
yeah,
after
yeah.
that phone call, I was down to do it still. But you're just like, it's okay, like
It's okay.
we
We'll
don't
do
have
it another
to do it
day.
right now. And
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah. And see, and that's the balance for you. And then I think for me, like the balance is still being able to like, okay, I still have this like things the way I do them, but being okay with like, but I can still do this. I can
Yeah,
still have fun or I could still budget and still have fun. Like, I could still do both of those
yeah.
things and figuring out how to do them and meet it in the middle. So I
Mm.
don't feel like well, damn. Like sometimes it just feels like that. Like I'm just like, well, damn, I'm gonna be older now and be like, well, what did Ebony do? Like, the memories type of things. And
That's
it's
a
like I
great
want,
mantra. Like, what do I
yeah,
want for the future? Like, what is it? And I think you're
yeah,
thinking that way, and I think
exactly,
it's making like life happier for you. We're not
yeah,
suffering.
yeah. I don't feel like it's like I have no other choice. And it's like now it's
Do
like
or
there's
die.
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's choices, and I could do these things, and you're able to do these things. I no longer have to be like, no, I can't, because reality is like, or worst case scenario. Like those are my those, and I've caught them that those are two big words for me. Is like worst case scenario and like reality is, and it's like I don't always have to tap into those words, like
Yeah, you don't I read this yesterday. Like, you don't have to isolate a moment and judge it for
right,
this is how it is and this is how it is. And if the day is this is how it is, and this is how it'll always be.
yeah,
And it's like when you do that, there's so many more limits that you start creating, and I think we're not doing that anymore.
right,
We're not judging the moment.
right,
Like, fuck, they're not, and making up those stories in your head. We're not
yeah.
doing that. And I think making up the story, for me, a mantra is like, don't make up stories in your mind.
Mm.
That's for me. Like, don't make up stories. Because when I make up stories, everybody's an enemy. No more. No more enemies. I don't got enemies.
Nah, I don't got enemies. So at least I don't think I do. I mean, if I apparently have enemies, you're your own enemy because I don't got no enemies.
You fighting
Like,
yourself.
right, literally, because no, like, there's no point in that. But that's a whole nother conversation,
For sure, for sure. A whole nother conversation for a whole nother week.
right? But I think we can end it there, right? I think just like balance. Like balance I think is the key word for this conversation.
Yeah.
Just
Balance
being
is
able
life.
balance is life, literally. Like do be happy, but also take care of your shit. Like literally. Be happy, do what you got to do, or like your choices, have those choices, or even like just be aware of things like okay, if you're going to make
Choices
specific
have those
decisions.
choices.
I don't know. I probably said that all wrong.
That makes sense.
I probably did
Okay,
choices,
I see what you're saying. Your
but
choice.
rewind. No, but
I
let's
just
just
got
say
stuck
like
on that.
I probably did say that, but I didn't catch it. But anyways, like I think being able to know that you have the choices, and like even if you, like I was gonna say, even if you make specific decisions and like, okay, I'm gonna make this decision, or like, being okay or being aware, like, but I know the consequence, or I know what's
And
gonna
and
happen.
consequences don't always have to look.
I don't like that word consequences, and I've been trying
Me
to like,
neither. Today I was thinking about the word consequences, and I'm like, consequences don't have to be like this aggressive thing.
yeah, like,
Consequences
or
can,
repercussions. Like,
yeah,
there's another word that sounds so much
an outcome.
easier. An outcome,
It's an outcome.
yeah.
If you
Just
fail,
know your
yeah,
outcomes.
if you fail, know that you'll never fail. If you're failing forward and taking
For
responsibility,
accountability.
making sure that you're reflecting, making sure that you're apologizing if you need to
And
apologize,
you fix the behavior.
and you fix the behavior. That's it.
Yeah.
That's how you
Or
break a
you
cycle.
try to fix the
You
behavior.
watch the wave come and be like, I don't want this, and
Right.
flow.
Right. Or even if it does come, but at least you're able to handle it
And if you didn't
differently.
handle it, you're like, oh, I ignored it.
Yeah, I know. Like, but you're aware.
You're
You're
aware, and
totally
all you can
aware.
do is try again.
Exactly. Exactly.
Ah, friend, we're so
So,
smart.
yes.
We're so smart.
Yes.
Okay, well, we're gonna leave it there.
Yeah. We'll leave it there.
We'll leave it there.
Balance.
Thank you. Have a great whenever you watch this.
Yeah. Stay tuned in. Um
Follow us on H&H podcast on Instagram, on TikTok. We are also on, you can watch
YouTube.
this on YouTube if you didn't watch it on YouTube. But watch it on YouTube and listen on the podcast, okay?
Please not.
Please help us out. Help
Nah,
us out.
I mean, whatever works for you. Whatever works
Whatever
for you.
floats your boat.
Yeah, whatever's best for you. I mean, really, it's your preference.
Yeah. But
But
thank you for however you came.
yeah, and shout out as always to Productive Culture.
Yes.
For letting this happen.
Jordan and Jordan.
Yes, and Jordan,
Yes, thank
Jay,
you.
and Jordan.
JC and Jordan.
Yeah,
All right.
but
Thank you. Have a good one. Thank you, friend.
yes, thank you.
You want to hug
Good
me?
conversation. Later.
Okay.
Peace out.